Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Define Disaster. This is Battlefield 4. Today we're going to be taking a look at the small and large medic bag with the aim of finding out which one you should choose for what situations and what playstyle. As with many things in Battlefield 4, the small versus large medic bag is something that divides the community in Battlefield, and this for good reason. They are two very different gadgets. I mean, they both heal you, but they have very little in common other than that, and they fit two very different playstyles and play situations. And we're going to be covering their strengths and weaknesses today in a little more detail with the aim of kind of finding out which one is best suited for what situation and which one you should pick when next playing X, Y, or Z game mode. Now, first of all, we should cover the basic mechanics of both of these medic solutions. Now, the small medic bag has the advantage of healing through suppression. So once you put it down, use it, or your teammate uses it, they will start healing 10 health, I believe per second, roughly 10 health per second, independent of whether or not they are suppressed. However, once they take damage, no matter how little damage it is, this healing effect will stop and will not recover whatsoever, which means once you've used your healing bag and you've started healing and that healing has either been stopped by you reaching full health or taking damage, you will not continue to heal no matter how long you wait. The large medic bag, on the other hand, is very different in this respect. It is basically an area effect. Once you put it down, it will heal people in that area all the time, unless, of course, they are suppressed. Once you're suppressed or taking damage, this healing effect will stop. However, as soon as you are no longer suppressed, it will come back and start healing you again. And this is already a very much key difference that will later, when we talk about playstyles, help to show the two different roles that these gadgets play. Before, however, we do get into which playstyles what is best suited for, let's talk about the team usability of these gadgets. The medic is, of course, the backbone of almost any game mode in Battlefield 4. It's vital that the medic heals its team players, and it can make a humongous difference having only 2 or 3 very active medics on your team, especially in game modes like Rush, TDM, or smaller versions of Conquest. So they are vital for your team, but it's not just reviving that's important, it's healing. Now, you can use both of these gadgets to similar efficiency to heal your teams, especially on smaller game modes with less players, 16, 32 player servers. However, once we get to the point where we're talking about 48 player, 64 player servers, I believe the larger medbag has an inherent advantage over the smaller one. No matter how inactive of a medic player you are, constantly tossing out medbags manually because they can only heal one player is going to take a lot of time, thus decreasing your combat efficiency against the enemy. And in all likelihood, you just won't throw medbags all the time around you to heal your entire squad. You will concentrate on fighting and making sure you don't get killed yourself, which means you're healing less people. Furthermore, the large medic bag can be placed in a safe location and is then visible on the map, and players will likely just go there and consistently heal, which means the ease of use of the large medic bag, especially for larger group healing, is much larger. You can just put it down in a corner and know all your teammates can go there and heal at any time, and you can focus on firing on the enemy or reviving the teammate that is completely down and out. And this is not to be underestimated, especially in more choke pointy game modes like Rush or like Conquest on maps like Operation, Locker, Metro. You will not see many people there using the small med bag because it simply isn't efficient either for them or their team. Now, the last factor that we have to discuss before we come to the role they play and what situations they are best used in is the speed. Now, you may think, what is he talking about? The healing speed is relatively similar, if not the same, if I'm not mistaken, just with the one healing you 1 health point at a time, just quicker, and the other 10 at a time. So there's no real difference there. I mean the speed of use. If you chuck down the large medibag, you can just put it down and it's going to start healing you. You don't actually have to touch the medibag to heal. Whereas in some situations, if you're hiding behind small cover, it can actually be slightly more difficult to use the small medbag because, of course, you toss it in a direction. That's very good for healing nearby companions, which are behind cover and you can't reach with the large medibag. But for healing yourself, it means that you usually have to turn towards the cover, look at a wall, throw a medbag, and then turn back into the direction where your enemy is for a short time, distracting you. Now, we are talking about small things here. This is usually not going to get you killed, but it can happen. This small amount of time where you are distracted will actually lead to your death. And this basically means that the medbag also has a small advantage over the small med pack when it comes to ease of use and speed of use. But with that being said, let's come to the most interesting part of today's video, and that is which situations, which of these med packs, med gadgets, whatever you want to call them, healing stations if you will, are best used. For me, it really comes down to holding a position or slowly moving forward, advancing on a position step by step, or if we're talking about a run and gun situation. And let me explain what I mean by this. The large med pack is best used placing it down, holding a piece of cover, holding ground. Defending on rush is the best example of that, or slowly moving forward on rush, attacking. Whereas the small med pack is best used, in my opinion, with smaller groups of people for run and gun situations. TDM is a great example, or when you're just working in a smaller squad trying to get an objective, say on Conquest or Conquest Large. So really it comes down in the end to what game mode you're playing, with who you're playing, and how you're playing it. I would not really recommend somebody to use the large med pack over the small med pack in TDM game modes, unless maybe it's 64 player TDM. That doesn't mean that the large med pack is inefficient. It's just that the small med pack allows you a little bit more flexibility. You can move around and be healing at the same time in TDM, and that can actually be useful if you know that your enemies are going to push your situation and you've got to get out of there, versus maybe a rush game where you want to hold cover. A large med pack allows you to just put it down, not worry about healing, because you're going to take shots every so often. You're going to be needing to heal every 5-10 seconds if it's an intense game and you've got your enemies shooting at you, and you don't want to have to go down behind cover, throw down a med pack every 5 to 10 seconds just to heal those 5, 10, 15, 20 damage that you've taken from somebody out in the distance trying to shoot you. So really it comes down to what situation you are using what gadget in. At least that's my opinion. And I know this differs hugely from person to person. Some people swear by the small med pack no matter what game mode, no matter what situation, no matter how many players they are playing against or playing with. Others always use the large med pack, and I have a tendency to use only the large med pack just of ease of use. However, when I do kind of consciously think about it, I will choose in future the smaller med pack for situations like TDM, because it does have that small advantage, at least in my opinion, in those certain situations. Now, with all that being said, that is the conclusion of my video, so I hope you enjoyed. I hope you also enjoyed this format of video. I often do weapon reviews on my channel, weapon comparisons, but I like to sneak in a kind of a tactical video or just a plain out comparison, commentary, analysis in between the usual weapon stats from time to time. Let me know what you thought about this video format, and as per usual, feel free to leave your comments both to the content, my verdict, or video suggestions down below in the comment section. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next Battlefield 4 video.